Quick disclaimer before the video starts, this will only contain the story of the first Subnautica game, not Below Zero, and obviously there will be heavy spoilers. The sweet, beautiful oceans of Subnautica, so very blue and lush. But have you ever thought about the world of Subnautica, or rather, how we even got here? Meet Altera, or more commonly known as BlackRock in today's society. Altera is a corporation, and like any big corporation, they of course have to own 9% of the whole galaxy. Now Altera built this big, new, beautiful ship, the Aurora. The Aurora's main purpose is to set up a phase gate, and for those who don't know what a phase gate is, they're just big wormholes that allow you to instantly teleport from point A to point B. Now the Aurora also had another rather secret objective, which we'll get into later. However, that still leaves a question unanswered. Who are you, and why are you even here? Well, you are Riley Robinson, a humble, non-essential system chief, and after a most unfortunate landing, you find yourself and your life pod on a planet 4546b. But why did you crash? And why do some of the fish on this planet have these weird balls on their skin? To find out, we need to go a little bit back in time. Meet the Precursors. They were a species of ultra-advanced, galaxy-spanning aliens with stupidly long lifespans. And because they were feeling quirky at some point, visited Earth. And they probably took a blade which they stole from Genghis Khan. This shows that they most likely had some form of contact, or even could have known previous ancient human civilizations. During one of the Precursors' routine expansions, they discovered Kara on an outer planet. Where this planet was and when it was discovered is not known, and due to a network error, Kara breaks containment and kills at least 143 billion of their kind. These deaths were mainly concentrated in their core worlds. In response to this, the Precursors quarantined their core worlds, including 4546b, in order to help research and develop a cure. The architects constructed the quarantine enforcement platform, the disease research facility, the thermal plant, and 3 sanctuary caches. During their time on the planet, they discovered the Sea Emperor Leviathan, which produced Enzyme 42. Which completely cured and nullified Kara. So logically, the Precursors captured and contained the 1600-year-old Emperor Leviathan and her eggs. But since she was really old, she couldn't make any of the enzyme. They also tried to force her eggs to hatch, but since the eggs needed a special form of natural plant crack to hatch, and the Precursors did not know this, none of them hatched. And one even died in a desperate forced hatching done by the Precursors. Now the Precursors, in their desperation for a cure, tried to steal an egg from a literal dragon. There are actual dragons in this game that also breathe fire. They brought it to one of their facilities I spoke about a second ago, the Disease Research Facility. And you would be thinking, why on earth would they take a sea dragon's egg? And well, it all comes back around to Enzyme 42. You see, since the Emperor and the Sea Dragon were pretty genetically similar, the Precursors wanted to try and see if a hatchling from the Sea Dragon egg could make Enzyme 42. If it really could or not was never explained, because the Mama Sea Dragon was pretty upset that someone went up and stole her kid. So like any parent, she rammed the living shit out of the station until it broke loose, and causing it to fall on the sea floor, where it still remains today. This led to a much greater cost than just a loss of property value to the research station, as Kara was also being contained there since it was being researched, and it was released into the planet's ecosystem. Within weeks of Kara being released, the planet's life started to be killed, which would have eradicated all life on the planet before any natural immunity could be built up by the planet's ecosystem. Luckily for the planet, there were some measures in place by both the Precursors and, surprisingly, the Sea Emperor herself. The first and most notable was the Quarantine Enforcement Platform, which for lack of better words, is just a big green piss laser with orders to shoot down anything and everything, and is also the very thing that shot down the Aurora and some other ships. There was also one more precautions the Precursors set into place: the Warpers. These biomechanical constructs weren't as exciting as the big green piss laser, but no less important. They mainly acted as police for Kara. As an example, if you don't have the Kara and you swim by them, they simply mog you and move on with your day. But oh boy, if you got Kara, don't even try and bother to run, since they can literally teleport. And don't think getting into a sea moth or prawn suit can save you either, since they will just yoink your ass out of there. Coming back to the Sea Emperor, even though she was caged more than a kilometer underground, she still wanted to do everything in her power to hold Kara. So she did something genius. You see, the Precursor set up her containment facility up with planet-spanning ventilation pipes, and even though she herself couldn't escape through them, the little peeper could. So she used her telepathic abilities to get the peepers to enter her enclosure, absorb the enzyme, and then spread it around the planet. And even though this was extremely effective at stopping everything from dying on 4546b, it couldn't stop it. So for the next 990 years, the planet stayed in a permanent sick day of sorts. That was until the Degassi was shut down. The Degassi crashed around 10 years before the main story takes place. They were doing a gravitational maneuver to save fuel. Unfortunately for them, they got too close to 4546b, causing the green pistol laser to shoot them down. Fortunately, when they were shot down, 3 out of the 6 crew members survived the crash landing and settled on making their first base in the floating island.
Chief's log, 5 weeks since the crash. After days drifting in the life pod, rain hammering on the roof, the weather cleared and we washed up here.
There was Paul Torgel, the big rich company CEO, with his son Bart Torgel and, I'm just going to call him Matt Simpson, a mercenary Paul had hired. After they built their base on the floating island, Matt starts insisting that they explore the surrounding waters, while Paul says they should stay on the island and await rescue.
My one task now is to keep us alive, as comfortably as possible, until the insurance company arranges rescue. In this part of space, that could be months, or even years.
Soon, Marge finds one of the purple alien tablets, and this makes Paul theorize that they are not the first people who visited this planet, which is something Marge agrees with and says she will keep in mind.
What is that thing?
I don't know. I found it outside in the sand.
Part of another ship?
None I've ever seen.
It's not even scratched.
Don't fool around with it. It might be worth something.
Stand down, Chief. If it were going to crumble to dust, it would have done so when I picked it up.
It's glowing.
We're not the first people to come to this planet.
Unfortunately for them, a storm floods a part of their base, which includes their gardens, and causes a landslide, partially obstructing their base. After this, Marge convinces the duo to move shop to the Jelly Shroom Caves, where Bart starts researching the wildlife of 4546b.
I thought it might get claustrophobic living underwater. Father feels it is. He'd tell me it was childish, but I stare out the window and sometimes I think how lucky I am to see this world up close. Back on the island, I wouldn't have believed the creatures that live down here. The fish, they glow. There's one that's 90% eyeball. Snakes twice the length of a habitat compartment. Certainly, it's not all friendly. Most of the plant life is toxic. I learned that the hard way. But I've managed to coax some marble melons into growing indoors. And when they don't cover our dietary needs, well, we eat the fish themselves. It's a bit gross, but it's nothing they wouldn't do. I've been attempting to document my findings. Father approves. He says understanding is power, that the more we know about this planet, the more we can use it to our advantage. I'm just doing it because it's fun. It's not easy without proper equipment and network access, but the old-fashioned way, observing, taking notes, testing theories, shows me the world in a way a spectroscopic analysis never could. Lately I've been watching the crab snakes. They ambush their prey as it tries to feed on the mushrooms they hide in. What they don't eat settles on the seabed, which fertilizes the mushrooms, which feeds the herbivores, and so the chain continues. Co-evolution gives me the fuzzies.
Sometime later, their second base started to leak water, and Bart found something on a scanner. Marge is certain and insists it has something to do with them being shot down. She lays out a plan to construct a base deeper down to investigate it.
We're already 200 meters below sea level. You want to go deeper?
Look around us, Chief. Water leaking through the hull, water outside the hatch. We're drowning real slow. If rescue arrives, whatever shot us down, it's gonna do it again and again until it's shut off. You see an off switch around here, Chief?
Why would it any more likely be half a kilometre down?
Your kid found something on the scanner. There's something down there. Something that shouldn't be.
Paul is infuriated by this idea, but eventually agrees and heads to the third and final base, the Grand Reef. Soon after they move, Bart discovered the existence of Korra and learns that not only are they affected, but so is practically everything else on the planet.
It's an alien bacteria. It's everywhere. Every organism on this planet. It's altering our genetic code.
How are the creatures surviving if they're infected?
I don't know yet.
Want me to cut some of them open for you? Find out what makes them tick?
No.
Just tell me what you need, son. Materials, equipment.
Can I have some quiet? I need some time to think.
In response, Marge starts bringing Bart test samples of the wildlife to try and develop a cure. Later on, Marge drags in a dead Reaper Leviathan for Bart to study. For obvious reasons, Paul is furious about this, saying she's putting everyone's life at risk, causing the two to argue even more than they already were, and practically turning Bart into a peace officer.
Margaret, Maida has boarded the habitat.
What are you so happy about, Maida?
Say, kid, I brought you something.
Is that a Leviathan outside?
Towed it home on the back of the sub.
You killed that thing?
It's still breathing. I was about to finish the job, but I can stay and chat if you'd like. No? Then make yourself useful and pass me that hardened blade.
Are you out of your mind? You brought that thing here? What if it's not as dead as it looks? What if others come?
You prefer it got curious and came of its own accord, or got messed up and dragged here?
When we get off this planet, I am going to drag you through every court in the damn Federation. I have had it with you risking our lives.
Oh, stow it, Chief. The kid can't kill this disease without fish to study. I'm just bringing him home.
But tell her. Tell her I'm right.
You're both wrong. Marguerite, I can't find out how they resist the bacteria if you slaughter them all.
It ain't always they oblige in coming in alive.
He means you're being reckless.
Father, the outcome's no better if we hole up in here and don't go outside. Look, we have to find a middle way.
There is no compromise. Not while she's on my sea base.
Your sea base?
I'm going outside.
During one of their arguments, another Reaper Leviathan came over to the base, which I presume is due to the other Reaper Leviathan being hung on the base like a good pair of truck nuts. This Reaper attacks the base and causes both Paul and Marge to be shot out of the base, which causes the trio to be separated, with Marge last time being seen fighting the Reaper with a piece of metal. Paul got lost and was drawn to a light which he thought was either from the base or one of his people, but this light ended up being from a crab squid, which killed him. Bart was the only one who was able to survive the encounter. He was able to reach the safe shallows, where he set up his final base as he tried in desperation to find a cure. During this time, he got visions from what I presume to be the Sea Emperor, but he thought it was merely a side effect of the illness. Before he died, he returned to the floating islands, where their first base was, to record his final log.
This is the first time I've seen sunlight in months. After all that time in the deep, I'd been dreaming of it. Now that I'm back here, I'm finding it hard to enjoy alone. Father was right. We should never have left this place. We shouldn't have gone so deep. They do not want us down there. Despite my best efforts, ill health is taking hold of me. The visions are getting worse. Marguerite and Father are now part of the ecosystem of this incredible planet. It's reassuring to know that when I go, I'll join them. Until then, well, there's always the view.
Something interesting I want to know is that even though there was a base Bart made in the safe shallows, it is nowhere to be found in game, so I theorized that it most likely was where the Aurora crashed, since what is now known as the Aurora crash site was most likely a biome similar to the safe shallows. And for those of you wondering whether the galaxy itself went, Marge herself confirmed that they salvaged the whole thing, which was most likely used to construct all of their different bases. We now skip back to the present time, where the Aurora was planning to do a gravity slingshot maneuver around 4546b to attempt to find the Degassi crew and rescue them. And keep in mind, Alterra did not send the Aurora to rescue the Degassi crew out of the goodness of their heart. It was purely so they could use it as a political tool to improve relations with the Mongolian states, which is just another big governmental entity. While the Aurora was entering the planet's orbit, the big piss laser detected it and shot at it. This caused catastrophic damage to the craft and worse, its drive core, and would have most likely landed in the void if it was not for the legend, the absolute GOAT, Captain Hollister. This absolute Chad sacrificed himself to crash land the ship in the crater. Now back to you, Riley Robinson. After you wake up from your force nap and put out your complimentary life pod heater, you realize that during your metal panel induced nap, everyone on both the launch life pods and the remaining crew on board the Aurora all died. And of course, as soon as you start properly surviving and getting set up on the planet, your PDA informs you that the Aurora's drive core decides it does not like getting shot at. So in retaliation, it does this.
Emergency. A quantum detonation has occurred in the Aurora's drive core. The reactor will reach a supercritical state in T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Now you are not just stuck on an alien planet where everything is dying from space AIDS. It is now a radiated alien planet where everything is still dying from space AIDS. Later on, a ship called the Sunbeam attempts to contact you after detecting the SOS the Aurora left behind.
This is Avery Quinn of Trading Ship Sunbeam. Aurora, do you read? Over? Nothing but vacuum. These Alterra ships. They run low on engine grease, send an SOS, you offer to help, they don't pick up. Aurora, I'm out on the far side of the system. It's gonna take more than a week to reach your position. Do you still need our assistance? Over. I'll try them again tomorrow. Damn charter's gonna have us blowing our credits running errands for Alterra. See what the long-range scans pick up in the meantime.
And after detecting the debris field in orbit, they plan to land soon to come and pick Riley up.
Aurora, this is Sunbeam again. We just picked up a massive debris field at your location. I didn't know how many of you... I didn't know. We're now en route to your location. We're gonna bring you home. Sunbeam out.
The spot they chose to land could not be worse since it's the island that is home to our very beloved piss laser. And this is the result.
Survivor, we see you. Man, I don't know how you held out down there. We broke an atmosphere and we're descending towards the landing site. Is that a building down there? What do you mean you can't identify it? Hold on. No turning back now. Positions, everyone. Touching down in 10, 9, 8. It's coming from the building? Change course. Set thrusters to full.
After that, Riley enters the building and attempts to shut down the gun, where we find out he also has Kara, and infected persons cannot shut down the weapon.
Warning, infected individuals may not disable the weapon. This planet is under quarantine.
Next, Riley returns to the Aurora to repair the drive core and finds the blueprints to build the Neptune escape rocket, which is currently impossible to launch for obvious reasons. As Riley goes deeper, he comes across many different biomes, causing him to eventually stumble across the disease research facility, and with that he finds about the warpers and their true nature of Kara. He travels deeper and comes across the alien thermal power plant, which apart from powering everything in the crater, also holds the blue tablet, which is the only way to open up the primary containment facility. Here, Riley meets a now 2,600-year-old emperor, and she tells him about her plan to hatch her young and cure Kara. After Riley does this and uses Enzyme 42, curing him completely of Kara, now the Sea Emperors will go around spreading Enzyme 42 and will eventually cure the whole planet. Riley now comes back to our beloved pistol laser one last time before disabling it, and assembles the Neptune escape rocket, before hauling ass out of 4546B.
Ready to launch on your command, Captain. Launch in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time capsule jettison. Caution, approaching orbital debris field. Orbital debris field clear. Performing gravity turn maneuver. Confirm destination coordinates. Nearest interstellar phase gate. Engaging ion boosters in 3, 2, 1.
Before getting hit with a 1 trillion credit debt.
Welcome home to all Terra. Permission to land will be granted once you have settled your outstanding balance of 1 trillion credits.
And that's Subnautica done, or at least the first game. I'll probably make a video on Below Zero at some point. Thanks for watching. Also check out the description to see the sources I used. Okay, bye.